Gran Turismo, one of gaming's most iconic names, one of gaming's most influential presences. Gran Turismo has had an outsized, unwarranted, and unrivaled sway in my personhood. The very fibers in my veins bleed GT. Gran Turismo is what no other game could be. Gran Turismo altered the very trajectory of my life. What defines me defines it. Welcome to another core video. Let's get into it. It was sometime back in 2009, I gleaned knowledge of NASCAR's new license holder. One that would take immense gravity in my conscience as I grew older, and one by the name of the aforementioned. Without Gran Turismo, I would be a distinctly different person, a distinctly less cultured man, a man without the appreciation for the finer things in life. Things like vistas, metallic paint, and jazz. Before booting up Gran Turismo 5, my uncouth southern mind knew not of things like Circuit de la Sarthe, Renault, and Spoon? There's no shot this company named themselves after silverware. Or well, that's at least what I thought before I granted Gran Turismo access to my cerebellum. Loading up the Sunday Cup for the first time, I found my way into a Ford Mustang, beginning the process of turning tame metallic explosions into a certified harpoon, boring out the cylinders, whacking on spoolie boys, and naively skipping out on unnecessary things like, handling and downforce, weight, and spring rates. Soon enough, though, like for so many others, Gran Turismo began to dig its grubby, nerdy little hands into my impressionable mind, slowly showing me the pathway of speed and enriching my mind with concepts like apexes, efficiency, and jazz, buddy, jazz! Have I mentioned the jazz? I bought myself an appropriately orange rocket ship and made my way through the campaign, slogging endless hours, day after day, in hope, no, in dreams, of obtaining a car with a little less green in its pixels. 10 million credits, 10 million AI vehicles strewn in a stew of defeat, finally acquiring my endgame, my destiny, a Ferrari Formula One car, unsheathing itself with the grace only a scarlet prancing horse could. My indoctrination into the national religion of Italy had begun. Revving that V8 symphony, I hopped in, panned over it. I can't use it for the career races? Oh, no, man, no. After admitting defeat to my own ignorance, I went back and reworked my garage. Upgrade after upgrade, my car's potential pace increased alongside my own, spending endless hours waging war on my controller and the drywall in guideless attempts at gold, learning the basics of apexes, throttle control, brake lockup, and cone annihilation processes. Finally caving to the cries of my aching thumbs, I vacated that tortured license center and recentered on something assumed less cursed. Ah, get back, demon! You aren't eating my eyes today! Mentally drained but financially reinvigorated, my garage transformed from beta to sigma. Grind set hours, boys. Miatas displaced by LFAs, Mustangs redeemed for Lamborghinis and McLarens. Stumbling into borked code and detuning my LFA to dominate championship after championship. GT guy gradually increasingly fueled by the used oil inside of my 207, slinging lap after lap of the green hell at an unthinkably slow pace, and defeating supercar-induced poverty at a 300,000 per lap pace. Discovering hidden gems and unlocking known quantities, my garage expanded at an exponential rate of my own mind, swaying my talents from Italian leather to German-engineered cloth, highlighted lightweight Japanese carbon buckets, straddling prodigious aerodynamics, one day waking to the sound of champagne and piano keys, champion of this world, and moving on to the next. It's this process, this embodied spirit that warps the minds of those who recreate with it. Kazunori Yamauchi and his ever-expanding team has managed the increasingly difficult. To turn ones and zeros, simplistic sheets of instructions, into something more. These experiences transcend the labels bearing artistic function. Gran Turismo, it's propaganda. Propaganda luring unsuspecting, young, naive minds into the cult of velocity. I've mentioned it many times before, and I'll continue to state my thesis. Humanity craves passion. We seek it out in every facet of our lives, driving irrational behavior and multiplying our influence across this globe. Where passion lies, influence proceeds, and Polyphony captured what it meant to be in love with atomically, electrically transient elements. Or to be less pretentious for 3 seconds, cars. Metal hurling itself violently into apexes, composed by the graceful dance orchestrated by suspension components and wheel inputs. I fell in love with this idea, the notion of tap dancing tires on the ragged edge of out of control, the idea of pouring your soul into a box of bolts and oil and crafting something new. Taking the pedestrian and generating the extraordinary, in pursuit of whatever best suits desires. For some, the thrill of acquisition fueled their late-night grind sessions. For others, novel exploration. For others, Polyphony built a sandbox, filled it to the brim with passion, and set it out onto the world. And here I am. Gran Turismo tutored me graciously from indifferent to cultured. The carefully curated experiences blend seamless the idea of self-guided education. To let a student self-select pathways leading to a desired mental outcome. Organic in progress and dramatic in impact. A student on a pathway of self-discovery, and yet in the end, a predictable set of synapses form. Removing the guardrails around education can have a profound compounding impact on a student. And I'm sure you've all subconsciously known this to be true. How many factoids have you memorized over the years, all in vain attempts to pass an exam? And yet how many more have you furloughed to the recesses of your mind? How much greater your mental expansion through selective exploration on this exact platform? Can you quantify the delta between your lived experience watching Vsauce and Veritasium over dreary, fluorescently lit lectures? That is the magic of Gran Turismo. GT doesn't lecture you on what it means to be an automotive enthusiast. It doesn't present Quizlets on labeled corners. It lights a spark of curiosity and presents a world ripe for harvest. I don't know the names of 130R, Puon, Variante Escati, and Forest Elbow because I sought them out. Rather, they found me. They found me when hunting the last 100th. I don't know the names of foreign, forgotten fueled chariots because of a desire to trivia. They found me. The Autobac's Arta Garaya found me on some lonely, obsessive night and carried me to the doorstep of Super GT, granting passage into the halls of GT 500 machinery and branching my mind right before my eyes. Gran Turismo didn't just make me a fan of cars, it wedged a man's lifelong obsession for video games and speed into my cranium, mine along with millions more. I can't express just how impactful these games have been, not just to me, but to the broader collective hive mind consciousness of humanity. There isn't an automotive scene on this lonely sphere that hasn't been touched by Polyphony's magic wand. From Sao Paulo to Okayama, from British CRTs to North Carolinian LEDs, Gran Turismo was proselytized to them all, walking them hand in hand from wherever they stand to understanding. A feat only achievable through passion and bred from desperation. Desperation to get a singular idea removed from idealized dream and into practice. Thank you to every Polyphony employee who skipped dinner with your family, who slept in their office, who poured their soul into 3D modeling, stitching on the dash of a Civic. thank you from the bottom of my heart, because the very wiring in my brain was wrestled out of my control and set onto a new course. One with a little more Miatas, a little less indifference, and a lot more jazz. That's right, baby, more jazz. Play me out, DJ. Thank you all for watching yet another lyrically confused yap session, waffling about something long past. If you enjoyed it, feel free to click the like button, subscribe, and if you choose to watch another video. Remember, as always, winter jackets and polar bear attacks. I've been Core, and I'll see you another time.